Hey, what's up, guys? Man, I got shot at 9 times, and my life was never the same. True story. I got my left leg blown completely off. Stay tuned for the whole story, guys. Anyways, so what happened was, one night I was getting off of work. I was like this in full uniform, all my gear, and I hear tires screech. I'm standing behind my Lincoln town car. I have my trunk popped open. I'm taking off my duty belt, It has everything, my gun, handcuffs, mace, everything. I'm taking off my duty belt, and as I unbuckled my belt, right before I could unbuckle it, I'm sorry, I had already unbuckled it. I just heard tires screech. And naturally, I turned. As soon as I turned, I heard 9 shots. Every single shot registered in my mind. Yeah, it's crazy. The craziest part, though, that most people will never believe me, but this is truth, I swear. Sorry, I don't swear, but it's the truth. I promise you it's the truth. The first shot, I heard it like a baseball bat crack. It sounded like the sound of a baseball getting cracked, or like the sound of a wooden bat cracking, that cracking sound. So I heard that. Keep in mind, these shots rang out so fast, all 9 shots, but everything was like in slow mo. So I heard the loud crack and the rest of the 8 shots, right? I naturally tried to run. As soon as I took that first step, I fell straight on the ground, like nothing was holding me up on my left side. Because I tried to run, you use your right leg and then your left leg, right? But as soon as my left leg came into play, I hit the ground. So it was crazy, man. As soon as I hit the ground, I turned around, like I turned over and I laid on my back and I tried to sit up and to see what was going on. Why did I hit the ground? Keep in mind, I didn't feel nothing. I looked at my leg and my leg looked kind of funny. It was dark, right? So I picked up my leg. I literally grabbed my hands and I put them under my left leg right below the knee. And I picked up my leg, right? And when I picked up my leg, I was shocked. My left leg was severed below the knee. I want to say about 3 inches below the knee. And it was completely severed. It had been completely blown off. The only thing holding my leg together was flesh. Yeah, only flesh. No bones were attached. Remember, you have two major bones in your leg. You have your tibia and your fibula. Both of them were completely severed by one bullet. One bullet. Completely severed. I got shot that night with a 45 caliber weapon, hollow point. Yeah, hollow point. Big bullet, 45 caliber. So the first shot hit me and I didn't even know. And the shots kept ringing out. So as soon as I hit the floor, while I'm processing what's going on, I hit the floor. I'm processing, I'm looking at my leg, and I realized that my leg is dangling. It was literally dangling downwards by a piece of flesh. There was nothing holding my leg up. At that point, I kind of freaked out. I was like looking at my own leg just dangling there on the floor. So while that's happening, a friend of mine that was standing next to me, I had just picked him up before I got to my house. This is what happened. I got off of work. I went to his house, picked him up. Then I went to my house and I was gonna drop off my work uniform and my gear, I was gonna drop all my stuff off and then take off with my friend, go hang out and drink a few beers, after work. Well, once I hit the floor, I remember what my friend said. He looked at me on the floor holding my leg with my flesh and my leg hanging. And he said, "What the fuck?" Excuse my language, but that's what he said. He was like, "What the fuck?" Looking at me in shock. I remember looking at him when he said that. And he ends up grabbing my other weapon that I had. He grabbed a shotgun from the trunk of my town car. He grabbed the shotgun like in a quick haste, quickly, because they were still shooting at me. He pulled out the shotgun and he just unloaded on them. And keep in mind, this was a drive-by. They parked a block, almost a half a block away. You know how you're coming down the street and then the block turns left or it turns right, pretty much a stop sign? Well, they came up to the stop sign. Right there, they stopped at the stop sign and they started shooting at me. And then our house was like 3 houses away, 3 whole houses away. We were right here in the driveway. So they just started shooting at me from here. They just started shooting at me to the driveway. And my friend right there started shooting back at them with the 12 gauge. They ended up leaving. They took off right down the street because they stopped at the stop sign and kept going straight. So when that happened, my friend, they call him Slow Mind, he was like, "Hey man, I gotta go," and he just took off running. I don't know where he went, but he took off running. I told the cops the truth, He was an innocent man. He saved my life, If it wasn't for him, I would be dead that night. I wouldn't even be here talking to y'all right now. And this is the truth, man. I would be completely dead if it wasn't for him, They wanted me dead, bro. Like, straight up. They wanted me not to breathe anymore. There's a whole story behind that. I'm gonna tell y'all the whole story. Anyways, the reason why they decided to shoot me that night was because at the time I didn't know who it was, so I was telling the truth when I said I didn't know who it was. But later I come to find out that the reason why I got shot at was there was these dudes that I used to do business with back in the day when I was like, I think like 15, 16 years old. Well, I had sold them something, right? And they tried to claim that I ripped them off, even though I didn't. I backed everything, right? They tried to claim that I ripped them off. And I told them, well, I'm not giving you the money back because I know what I sell and I'm not ripping people off. I'm not into doing that. So there was a beef between us for a couple years after that. Right? And one night I'm driving my car. I'm going to Jack in the Box like 3 in the morning, minding my business. And I see that dude, right? 3 in the morning. I know what he's about, So I have my gun with me. So I had my gun, right? And I was pointing it through my door. You see my door right there? I was literally pointing it like this through my door for safety reasons in case he started shooting at me. So I had it pointing through my door. Something tells me that he had his pointing through his door too. So what happened was I'm driving to Jack in the Box down the street, which is only 5 blocks away, I'm driving and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning and I see this dude driving towards me. I'm driving like this down the street and he's driving the other way down the street. So he starts to slow down and he kind of stops me with this bumper. So I stop. Then he drives around me like this and pulls up right next to my door. So that's when I had my gun like that to the door just in case. Yeah, so I told him, I was like, "What you want to do, man?" He's like, "What do you want to do?" And it's like, I'm just going to go home, bro, eat my food. I just, you know what I'm saying? So, he ended up taking off, and I took off too. Well, a couple years after that, that's when that night happened, the shooting. What happened was, they whatchamacallit, they started some beef with my brother, right? And I didn't like that, I always protected my family. So I went over to their house, and I told him, I was like, hey man, come outside, let me talk to you real quick. And he didn't want to come outside. And I was like, hey bro, come on, be a man. Come outside, come talk to me like a man, bro, And he didn't want to come outside. And then they tried to scare me. I heard him clock the Mini 14. They had like a rifle, like a Mini 14 with folding stock, right? They pull it out, and all I hear is clock, clock, loud ass rack. They racked the rifle, and I told him, I was like, man, I ain't scared of you, man. Come outside, let's talk like a man. All they wanted to do was clarify that they would leave us alone and stop harassing me and my brother. Like a man, man to man. I didn't want to get in no shootout, no none of that stuff. Anyways, they never came outside, so I took off. Well, within that same 3 days, they end up, that's when the shooting happened. We had been arguing that night. He was yelling at me, talking smack to me from the next block. So I started telling him, leave me alone, leave me alone. And next thing you know, he just kept going and going. And then that's when the drive-by happened. They shot at me.